Hey everyone, we're back at 218 Newbury Street at the Tivoli Audio Showroom and Shop. I'm Paul, this is Brady, and we are about to host today the second No More Music. Last time we had Aubrey Haddard, great turnout. I think it was everything that we wanted to be.
Absolutely.
Right?
Our goal is to just introduce emerging artists that we think are doing cool things to our friends and other creators here in Boston. And the space was perfect. It was that intimate vibe. Aubrey killed it, and we're back to do it again.
Yeah, so tonight we're going to have local electronic pop artist Photocomfort, who we'll be sitting with a little bit, do a one-on-one interview, followed by our performance, and we'll check back then.
Let's do it.
Welcome everyone to No More Music. We are here with our next guest, Photocomfort. Thank you for being here.
Hiya.
Just a little background, Boston-based electronic pop act, although I hear a lot of other things going on in electronic pop. You started writing and conceiving of this Photocomfort project in 2011-ish?
You did your research.
Oh yeah, I'm all in it.
Yeah.
And you were writing for quite some time. Around 2015, you finally put out officially some singles, and you started playing out on Photocomfort at that time?
Well, there's a secret EP that I released in 2011, as everybody did in 2011. But I took that off the internet, which is the new putting things on the internet.
Got it.
But yeah, then we started releasing some more stuff. At that time, I had a writing partner, but really through it, it's been my project, and still releasing, still producing.
Cool.
Yeah.
And last year you released, I guess would you say your first official release of an EP, Understudy?
Yes. Yes.
And which I think the Boston Dig named it as one of the best local EPs of 2018.
Love that dig.
You were nominated for Boston Music Award last year. You were nominated again for Boston Music Award this year for Best Pop Dance.
Mm-hmm. I think so. I honestly don't pay much attention to that.
Hey.
It's like in that sphere.
Yeah, I guess I was going to question. It was like you had something in 2011, you put it out, you took it away. It took a while to ramp up. So all that time, I mean, were you digging to find like the right sound, get these songs to be what you wanted them to be? Were they not envisioned as you thought they would be?
Well, I think that, for part of that time I was actually just touring in another group, and that was my job, and like making music around that was incredibly difficult. So once I kind of left that gig and started focusing back on what Photocomfort should sound and should look like, I think that it went through a number of production iterations before it kind of settled on something that, for better or for worse, kind of feels like it lies outside of genre lines, which was the intention, but it was also a kind of difficult space to occupy.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, no matter what you do, everyone's always going to try to put it somewhere.
Well, we just like live in a playlist world, right?
Yeah.
So you gotta find yourself on some kind of playlist.
Very true. Musically, so I dug into a good amount of your stuff on SoundCloud and Spotify. Not just saying this, it's music that's straight up my alley as a creative and as a music songwriter myself, and also the music I like to surround myself in. I found it all just really pleasurable.
Oh, I'm so glad.
And I don't say that often. I've grown to be very picky.
Okay.
And with that, I really was starting to dive into some of your song structure and just getting a little bit maybe geeky about it.
Let's do it.
So I'll pick your brain a bit.
Yeah.
A huge part of, I feel like what I'm hearing through the sounds, I mean, I kind of was putting it in this like mysteriously beautiful category, because you have this like these complexities in the creative and the ideas. There's something challenging for the listener. At the same time, though, you have those bits of like easy to digest, shimmer on top that makes it really enjoyable. And a lot of what I found was the way you're moving through some of your chord progressions and the phasing that you have between that and the spaces that you overlap your vocal melodies and the phrasing of that really kind of brings this like complex juxtaposition to the songs. Is that something that you've had from day one? Is that something that you had when you sit behind the piano before you put the synths in and all the other stuff?
Well, I mean, my friends and I always joke about, the way we produce music and leaving all these little like Easter eggs in it is imagining that listeners listen to music like exactly as we do and like will hear that and be like, oh, I know exactly like what that is. But it is like, it's definitely, I always produce music that is like essentially aimed toward certain people in my life and like wanting to produce something for them that like they would be like, oh, what is that? What did you do there? Or like, why did you do that there?
Yeah.
So I would say that adding that kind of puzzle has always been core to
Sure.
what's fun about making music, really.
Well, that's the best part.
Yeah,
I mean,
the puzzle.
and you're writing, when you do you're writing obviously, on piano and your melodies, but are you writing for all the other instruments that eventually come to fruition in the recording?
It depends on what recordings you're listening to, but for understudy, yeah. I think my favorite thing to write for is probably bass. In addition, obviously, playing my parts and, doing all the keyboard and synth stuff. But yeah, I love arranging.
Sure.
That is my most favorite thing.
Cool.
Yeah.
Which brings me to kind of the other piece was, with the elements of electronic that you do put into your music, how has dabbling in the electronic phase, all the softwares that are out there, how much has that impacted the writing or the arranging?
I would say a lot, and it's actually something that I've been trying to really interrogate lately, because I would say that a lot about my songwriting changed from working really intensively in a DAW. I use Logic,
Sure.
and at a certain point that started to feel like it held me back a little bit. So not to say that Logic is a tool that is,
Sure.
specific to the electronic world at all. I only mean that I'm always striving to make something that feels live and feels organic. And I would say to that extent, my music doesn't always, I don't think, really fall necessarily in the electronic sphere, but I use a lot of those tools.
Sure.
So, I don't know, it's kind of slippery.
No, but that's what I love about it. there's, at the belly of it, there's all the organic and kind of the natural elements, and you just perfectly place the augmented, let's call it augmented as opposed to electronic elements in there.
Oh, my microphone thing.
Right?
Yeah.
You perfectly place them in there, and it's what brings that blend, I think, sonically. And it's, even when I'm listening through your stuff, I'm like, did she write it this way? Did she write on this thing, or did she put it in later? And a lot of times I feel like at the belly of your songs, it's just if you strip it down, it's just you and your piano. And is that what happens in the studio? Do you go into the studio with a song and then come out with a completely different thing?
Oh, no.
You pre-pro it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, big time.
Yeah.
I have a control thing a bit.
Yeah, why not? It's your work.
Yeah, totally. I would say that at the core of most every song that I make, I find it really important to make sure that there is a song that you could just sit down and have a piano or an acoustic guitar and play front to back and still be compelling. And
Sure.
that is like the guiding principle.
Sure. Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. So let's just briefly talk about what's coming up for you. So you're working on new material, and that's planned for next year?
Yep, planning for next year, and it's really exciting. I think it should actually be a pretty strong departure. So I'm going to be playing strictly tracks from that record tonight here at Tivoli.
Cool.
Which I'm psyched on, and I've always played with the band with like usually a pretty intricate lineup.
Sure.
And these days I can just kind of like show up with a keyboard and like maybe one other thing, but honestly trying to pull it off solo has been pretty exciting, and So that's what you can expect this year. I'm also collaborating on a bunch of other projects, including a band that I play in Tivoli. If you don't know them, you should hit them up and check them out. But we'll also be releasing something in 2020.
Awesome.
2020 is going to be a big year.
Big year. That's good. gotta do it. I mean, you know, next year is going to have a whole other ring to it for other reasons.
Right. That's more one, but it's a big year.
And I guess just one bit of the business side. So you're your own manager, you're on a label, you're on your own label. What's the deal with how you're doing it?
Yeah, I've gone through different iterations, but at this point it's totally self-managed and self-released. I think that's appropriate for where I'm at and what I want to do right now, because
Sure.
I've really discovered that I really just want to experiment, and that's the best way for me to do that.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, you can get daunting. Like, I mean, you're doing it full time?
I'm not, no.
Okay. So I was just saying, because it gets daunting when it is full time, and then you have to worry about booking and managing and marketing and the business side, and then the creativity thing becomes like the backseat.
Yeah, well, I could tell you for certain that if I were doing this full time, I would definitely have a team, because
no
there's no choice, and
Yeah.
there's too much to worry about. But yeah, I mean, I have a full time job that I take quite seriously, and that kind of allows me to focus on music for what I like it for,
Sure.
which is
So-
expression,
Yeah.
right? And I wasn't getting that actually when the tables were turned and I was doing music full time. So
Yeah.
it's just
No,
about
I can relate with that. I mean, it always looks good on the other side when you wish I was touring and on the road and doing music full time, but the stress of making it work takes the love out of it. So, and you've been able to do it not as a full time gig and do it pretty well and getting some notoriety. So you're winning on both sides.
I'd like to think of it that way, yeah.
Hey, from what I saw, so I look forward to your performance tonight and what's coming down the road for you.
Thanks.
And thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Welcome to Tivoli Audio. My name's Brady Sadler. Super proud to partner with Paul and the Tivoli team. Is this space great? Love this. I have a company called Double Elvis Productions. We make podcasts, and this series, No More Music, is actually the name of a forthcoming podcast that we're doing next year. But for now, this is just a gathering where we had this idea to just bring people together to shine a spotlight on emerging artists that we think more people need to know about, and to create more connections in the creative community here in Boston. So I love seeing a lot of familiar faces, a lot of new faces, and people, worlds cross-pollinating. It's great. So tonight, our second No More Music event, we have a local artist who really defies genres, I think it's fair to say. And you know, often gets put in like the pop, electronic kind of box, but no boxes tonight. It's just awesome music. And goes by the name of Photocomfort, and has a show coming up. So if you like this, on the 16th at WGBH. And let's give her our attention and support and just have fun. Without further ado, Photocomfort. Oh, I forgot one thing. I also want to thank the record company, our partner in this event. The record company is Boston's only nonprofit recording studio. Super important, gives access to artists so that they can do their thing, and we can continue to have this thriving music scene and growing music scene in Boston. So give it up for them. And again, Photocomfort.
How are we doing?
Good.
How are we feeling about the distribution of our bodies in this space? Should we pull forward? Down in front.
Thomas in the back.
and things that bite. But sometimes 90 feels just like 65. You better slow down real quick, my friend, before you go losing your mind. I can feel the shape of the feeling. Oh, is daddy gonna phone? It feels like the shape of a broken heart. But we can't let such feel grip you, grab dog wheel, and go driving off in the dark. Could it be a gift that we see fire burning in the same place, so the rest just see sparks? But sometimes 90 feels just like 65. And you wouldn't know the difference if it weren't for the digits on the dial. Sometimes 90 feels just like 65. But don't worry about me, my friend, you know I'm along for the ride.
Thanks, y'all.
All right.
He needs the money. He's not making any sense.
Yeah, I need it. You know?
I think we're good.